about being on that bus journey.
Yeah.
So what we're going to do first, I've taken some of our clear parchment and I've die cut using our Pico squares.
Right.
Okay. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put that companion into the corner.
Is that because then that kind of sets the layout for us?
That's right, because when you look, I've got one here that's already done. When you look here, if you was to put the frame in first, you wouldn't know where to stop.
Yeah.
So you're going to put the companion in first and then add the frame.
That gives you your reference points.
Yeah. Now, you can see here very clearly the difference in the brightness of the tracing out.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've got that lovely crisp white, and then almost you can't really see it. Okay. And the way in which we get that, so I'm going to go to, well, let's actually do, no, I'm going to go, so I'm going to take the plate mate that comes in the starter kit.
Okay.
And I'm going to take the companion plate. So the companion plate is an A5 square, fixed perfectly within the plate mate from the starter kit. Nice. You need to be able to read the word groovy the right way. And I'm going to take a piece of A5 parchment and I'm just going to trace out a couple of these flowers just to show the difference. Okay. I'm going to wipe with my tumble dry sheet.
And just going back purely basics, anyone new to groovy, why are we doing that?
Okay, so the tumble dry sheet allows the tool to glide more easily because what we're about to do is push into the grooves. So if you don't wipe with the tumble dryer sheet, you're likely to rip the parchment because it creates like friction. Okay. So I'm just going to take a groovy tab just to hold it in place.
Nice. What size do we go here?
Okay, right, so this is where it's important. Okay. So what we're going to do, I'm going to use my groovy guard. I'm just going to do this one flower. So if I take, normally, when I'm tracing out, I would go with my number 1 tool.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can see here, instantly, I've got that beautiful crisp white line. And we're doing this on the back of the parchment.
Nice.
Okay. So there we go.
Okay.
So I've got my number 1.
Yeah.
Now, if I just slide that along, so we can have the comparison, just reattach that. Now, I'm going to go to the number 2 tool. And the number 2 tool has a little ball on the end.
Yeah.
So what that means is it doesn't go into the groove as deep. So therefore, the fibres on the parchment is not stretching as much.
This is, I know you're concentrating on what you're doing, but this is a lovely shot. We're all at home, really getting to see what you're doing.
So now I'm going to slide along again, because you get 2 double-ended tools in the starter kit. So now we're going to go to the number 3 tool.
Right.
Push into the groove. Now you definitely need to go slower because the ball's bigger and it can jump out of the groove more easily.
So the bigger the ball, the more careful we are.
Yeah, you just need to slow it down a little bit. Okay. Now we're going to do the final one and move along. And we're going to use the number 4 ball tool.
Okay, so this is the largest one?
The largest one in the starter kit. So definitely a lot slower on this one. Okay. And just take your time and just follow.
Nice.
Okay.
This is great to actually see all 4 and the difference between all 4 tools.
That's
I
right.
think this is important education, actually.
Okay. So when we turn this over now.
Oh, wow.
So this is your number 1 tool, which has no ball on the end. This is the number 2 tool, which so it's less brighter. This is the number 3, and then this is the number 4. So depending on the environment in which you're working in and your eyesight will determine which one you want to go for.
That, Paul, is an excellent demonstration. It's so powerful because we can hold up the tools and show the size. But that, I don't think I've seen that before. It's really good.
So basically what Linda's done on this one, I would say she's probably traced out with the number 4.
Yeah.
Okay. But if you want to give this a go, then for me personally, I would go with the number 3 tool. Okay. Because it just helps a little bit more with the definition on the design.
That's a really good way to sort of clarify in your own mind the difference between the 2 ball tools. So, for instance, Paul, when we're saying, or when you're doing a demonstration, you say you want this to be softer, then that's when you're saying go to your number 2, go to your number 3, because you don't get such a strong, crisp line.
That's right. And so, again, practice, just like what I've done, to see which one will work for you. Because what we're doing is, what Linda's done here if you're brand new to Groovy, you can trace all of this out, all in the number 1 tool, and just add some colour.
That's fine.
Okay, so don't be put off by this effect, because you can still create the same layout, but just using the different tools.
So am I right in saying this box shadow technique, is it box shadow?
Shadow embossing.
Sorry, shadow embossing technique. The prominence is on the white work as opposed to the line
That's
art.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like when we do ink techniques, so no line inking, colouring.
Yeah.
Sorry, no line colouring, yeah.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to take our square that we've already cut out, okay, and I won't do all of it because I've just shown exactly how it works. So I'm just going to line it up like so.
Yep.
And just hold that in place with the Groovy tabs. Now, for this part, what I'm doing, because I've already got one that's already traced out, I'm just going to do this in the number 1, just so that you can see the difference of what it looks like. Okay, so I'm just going to, and because I'm used to the pressure that I'm applying, I know I can go as fast or as slow as I want to. I mean, it isn't a race, it's all about enjoying the process.
And those are really powerful words, because this is why we craft. If you wanted something quick, just go and buy it. We don't. The point is, you want to enjoy that process, and that's the joy of really being a crafter, that we can sit down, we can go on this journey, and at the end of it, you can either keep the work or you can gift it. Yeah. It's nice to see someone's face when they know that that's taken you time.
That's right. I mean, it is all about the process, and we often say that when you get a new plate, just trace it out. Because as you're tracing it out, you will see different elements to the designs. So you may look at it and think, oh, I didn't realise there was a leaf there, or I didn't realise there was a flower here, and stuff like that. Because the way in which Linda works with her designs, that she tries to give you as much design as possible on a plate. Okay.
She's so good as a designer. We need to talk about Linda Williams, because she is exceptional, and you're going to appreciate how good she is when you start, because she's such a modest, humble person, but she's a master marcher.
She may march.
She goes marching. No, she's a master parcher, which is incredible in itself. How many are there in the world?
There's 2 in the world. So back in the day, Pergamano, it was all about sort of, again, the education, and I think that's why it fits so well with Clarity. And you had to do exams in order to be able to teach it. And it was worldwide, sort of all over Japan, Australia, America. And so you had to sit exams of all the various different techniques in order to become a tutor. And so it just kept the standard of traditional parching up. And there was only 2 master tutors in the world. Linda was one of them, and the other one is Gertie Hoffman, I believe it, from the Netherlands. And so they would then go around teaching. Linda travelled the world.
But to be able to say that you're one of only 2 people on this planet to hold that accolade, that's incredible.
That's right. See, and obviously then Groovy came along, and what Groovy does, it replaces one technique of the art of parchment craft, and it makes it achievable for anybody.
Well, it's accessibility.
Yeah. I mean, we have children as young as 5 using the system.
Anyone with dexterity issues.
Absolutely, and many parchers that used to do it traditionally. The hardest part that I know of was tracing the line out. Okay, and you'd have to trace it with a pencil, go onto a soft mat. Then the skill, because I tried it myself, was to get the right pressure on a soft mat to get this crisp white line every single time. And I remember I spent hours on a design, and then I went on too hard and I put a great big hole in it. So it put me off.
That would be heartbreaking.
It was very
invest that time, and then right at the end, but I'd have to go for a walk.
Yeah. So all this does, the Groovy system, is that it takes that one process and makes it easy.
Nice. By the way, Marcus, our director, has just informed me. So you're saying Linda Williams, only one of 2 people on this planet to hold the accolade of being a master parcher. Well, Marcus happens to be in a very elite group as well. He is in a group, and he's only one of 2 people to be in that group, and that is the Yanis Morgan fan club. There we go. Thanks for informing me of that, Marcus. I appreciate that. The other member is my mum, who set it up.
Okay. Yeah. So when we now have a look, I'm not going to say do all of it. You can really see the difference.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Okay. You can absolutely. Just very quickly, we've had an email in from Anne. I think it's very pertinent. So, Anne, this is an excellent question. If you do have questions, please email in.
Absolutely.
That's what we thought. We're a live show. So, Anne is asking, when we're doing this technique,
yes,
do we use the soft side or the hard side of the knife?
Okay, so traditionally, when you're tracing out, because the groovy plate is an acrylic plate, it's solid. Okay, so you can work on the soft side and it won't really do anything unless you put a lot of pressure on, and then you'll just find that the plates will slightly move.
Yeah.
So in an ideal situation, you'd work on the hard side, or just on a table. A hard surface. That's all you need.
Okay.
Okay.
Brilliant. Would now be, because I'm conscious we're halfway through the show.
Already?
I know.
Goodness.
Would now be a good time for me to just do a really quick update?
Yes, and then we'll look at how we put this larger frame in.
Okay.
Because we're going to use a different plate mate for that.